South Africans. Let's talk about Fadiel Adams, the MP, the National Coloured Congress leader, and lately a man in the middle of serious allegations from KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Ndlanhla Mkhwanazi.
Yeah. Mkhwanazi has implicated Adams for allegedly obtaining intelligence information he wasn't authorized to have, using it to open criminal cases, and handling classified data in a way that could compromise ongoing investigations.
So, some specifics. Mkhwanazi told the Madlanga Commission that Adams opened 3 criminal cases in Cape Town in 2024 using that intelligence, and later similar cases in Gauteng. He also complained to then Police Minister Senzo Mchunu about vetting in crime intelligence and about alleged secret funds used to buy vehicles for the political killings task team. But importantly, Adams couldn't provide evidence to support those claims.
There's also Mkhwanazi saying that after a hearing in which Feroz Khan was not found guilty in the case tied to that 700 million rand drug bust, that's one we discussed before, Adams allegedly contacted Mkhwanazi to congratulate him. Good job, you're a good cop, or something along those lines. Raises eyebrows, doesn't it? Because it suggests Adams is following close enough to know the outcome. This part is based on what Mkhwanazi said publicly in testimony.
Adams' political style is sharp. He's been very vocal in portfolio committees against Mkhwanazi, but sometimes the criticism seems focused not on what Mkhwanazi said, but how he showed up, how he dressed, how he protected himself in press briefings. Little attention given to content and more on optics. Kind of reminds me of something.
And then there's the picture. Social media has a photo of Adams sitting with others, and one of them is holding a gun. Some say posing like that is dangerous. It gives character questions. Others say it's overblown.
So, South Africans should be asking, how did Adams get this intelligence? Was it slipped under his door, as he suggested? Was he authorized to open cases based on it? Are these complaints based on true criminal elements? Or are they political theatre? And why has Adams been so loudly against the political killings task team? Because for many, it feels like what wasn't said matters as much as what was.
We'll include clips so you can see for yourselves. Here is a clip of Adams criticizing the political killings task force.
How is it that we're talking about the lie, the alleged lie that Minister Nkunu told the police portfolio regarding his relationship with Brown? But the National Commissioner could lie about the brigadier that they brought from BMW. How is this okay? Why are we targeting certain people as Parliament? We are eulogizing General Mkhwanazi. I, as the complainant in the charges against those 7 generals, when this portfolio called me a madman before they were arrested, I, as the complainant, am connecting the dots. That staged press conference with a general who now seeks additional protection, who had what looked like an armed militia behind him, it was a threat to this country. Let us call it what it is. He was trying to incite policemen to take action in the event of whatever it is that he knew was coming. Let me tell this committee what I suspect was coming. As the accounting officer for the South African Police Services, I suspect that the National Commissioner himself is up for arrest. And that press conference was nothing more than a preemptive move. And the country appears to have fallen for it. General Mkhwanazi must appear before this committee. The National Commissioner must appear before this committee. The IDAC must appear before this committee. General Kumalo, General Lushabo must come and sit in front of this committee. And I want to appeal and actually ask that we make it a recommendation that every member of this committee that has ever met with any law enforcement or investigative body or given them a statement or had a conversation must come clean and tell us what he said. I will be the first. I know Honorable James has had that conversation. I have a suspicion there are a few more other people that are hiding things within this committee. Now, in order to clean out the service, we must all be honest. We can't demand accountability from the boys in blue and hide things right here.
Here's one of Mkhwanazi talking about Adams trying to frustrate the task team.
Commissioners, as I'm outlining again here, I've said when I started, we investigate the picture emerged that calls for further investigation. So this commission is here to help us answer the question of how involved are the politicians and other private people, including police officers, how are they involved in interrupting the work of the security cluster in administering this criminal justice system. This is but one that you're going to see at the end, how Mr. Adams' action is impacting to the work that the team is doing. And again, posed to say this with respect, I had indicated that when we're discussing in length, we're talking about the political killings task team. We mentioned that Khumalo is the project manager there. Khumalo, who's a divisional commissioner of crime intelligence. We presented that Khumalo at crime intelligence becomes aware about what's happening in Gauteng province, and he registers a case internal within crime intelligence that is running as a project inside crime intelligence that is in charge of. It is that case that links to these high profile, the Molifes, the Matlalas that get arrested. As you're going to see the picture late, it is an operation within crime intelligence, the GCI ops, not the PKTT. These actions that follows from there onward, how they're going to link to the work of that GCI ops. That's a picture we're going to show you towards the end, commissioners. So, but what we know here is that we're tracing steps back as when an incident happens. We go back and we ask, we investigate what led into this, going backward. So, although we are explaining it here where it started, but not how we investigated. We investigated by starting at the result of something, and we backtrack to establish, like a crime scene. We're going to come to court and say, so-and-so killed that person. But we start by attending the crime scene. We collect evidence, we track back everything until we find the reasons. Then we say, this is a suspect who conducted this crime. So this is exactly what we are doing now. We are telling you who did what, which eventually will result into the interruption of the criminal justice system, which this commission is assisting us to investigate. So, Mr. Adams, on the 29th of October in 2024, he went to Cape Town police station and he opened 3 cases. And these cases, I'm going to invite you, should be public record, to even look at what is contained on his complaint. It does not even warrant the registration of a case. There's no elements of crime on his complaint. But nonetheless, he opened the complaint. And the complaint is really about the vetting procedures within crime intelligence, a space that he ought not to play in. So he takes this sensitive information and he goes to the police station, and he goes and opens a case at the police station, which therefore means he has access to the records within crime intelligence of the secret information that he should not be in possession of. But he takes that information, he goes to a police station, he opens the case about that. And this information, as I said, the vetting procedures of the South African Police Service, where the allegations that the police is manipulating systems within the vetting process. This is a person that, as I said, Commissioner, is not within the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence in Parliament. He's in an open committee. But he speaks, he opens a criminal case about the matters of crime intelligence. Mr. Adams further claims that there's an abuse of the secret fund account. He does not have an oversight. He doesn't even know the budget allocated because he's not part of that committee. But he claims here that there's an abuse of the secret fund account at crime intelligence. So his accusation, his claims, allegation is that this secret fund account, these funds are being channeled to places where they're not supposed to go, including the procurement of vehicles for a political task team in KwaZulu-Natal. We demonstrated yesterday about the budgetary expenditure and everything from the team, where it comes from. But he claims here that this money from the secret fund account is used to purchase vehicles of the political task team. Surely, as a complainant, you would provide proof for this. I like to believe that as a complainant, you should be able to demonstrate that here's an evidence that this money was spent here for this resource. He further claims on his complaint, commissioners, that this political task team is a private entity that provides service to the former Minister of Police, Bheki Cele. That's what he puts on the documents, on the A1 statement that he deposited at the police station. He accused that the team is basically an armed force of Gerald Cele. That's his accusation. And the other case that he opens, commissioners, is that he raises concern or is challenging the appointment of one Ms. Mokwele, who was appointed as a technical support service at the Crime Intelligence Division. So he claims that this appointment was irregular and it should not have happened. So these cases are registered on the 29th of October in Cape Town. 29 October 2024 in Cape Town. 2 days later, commissioners, on the 31st of October, Mr. Adams, he raised the same complaint and he lays the same charges, exactly identical, at Orlando Police Station in Johannesburg. 2 days later, 29 and 31, and these are records on our case files in the police we have. They can be obtained by the commission if you so wish. He complains that he raised these complaints to Gauteng, and they are registered on the 31st. 3 cases are registered in Orlando Police Station. 29, 31st. On the 1st of November, Mr. Adams sends an email directly to the Minister of Police, Mr. Senzo Mchunu. He's complaining to the minister. And his complaint says that there are efforts to undermine investigation related to these cases, and therefore is requesting the minister to intervene. His email is attached as a reference that he sent to the Minister of Police.
General, if I may assist, that email you reference at paragraph 176 of your statement, and that is MK14, starting at page 265.
That's correct.
Thank you. You may proceed.
So these are the timelines that I'm putting it before the commission. That 29 October, 3 cases in Cape Town. 2 days later, 31st of October, 3 cases, similar complaint in Orlando and Johannesburg, some 1,500 kilometers other part. A day later, a complaint to the minister that the 2 cases or the 2 provinces where he registered cases, there's some efforts to undermine investigations. So he's got evidence that there's an effort to undermine investigation on both of these provinces. That's why he then sends a complaint to the Minister of Police. So it is interesting indeed to know that this claim that Mr. Adams presented in Cape Town, he claims on his email that he knows that there was an interception of the investigation and the docket had been intercepted. So I really don't know what does that mean? That you register a case in one instance, Commissioner, A complaint is a statement is deposited at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The case is registered at 8 o'clock in the evening. But 2 days later, he claims an interception. Perhaps even by the time he claims, that docket has not even been allocated to the investigating officer. But he is already moving to another province to complain about that. So this is what he puts in the complaint to the minister, that there's interception of the docket in Cape Town, and he further claimed that he had been notified that the Gauteng Police Department had followed the same modus operandi as the Western Cape Provincial Commissioner and is interfering in the investigation process. So this is one man, a member of parliament, that is convinced that within the period he's opened the case, there's an interference already. And he leaves the one province, he goes to another one, he opens a case, 24 hours later he reaches a complaint that they are following the same modus operandi as Cape Town. So how we concluded to this, I really don't know. Perhaps he will be invited here to come and explain why he reached this conclusion. But as we investigate, commissioners, you're going to pick up some linkages of his involvement in this work that the team are doing in uncovering the criminal syndicates within the police. So this is the build-up to such. That's why we are focusing on this. This complaint, upon landing at the minister's office, first he sends an email to the minister, and after that follows another emails to the chief of staff of the minister of police and other people that he copied the emails to. But the first one was directly to the minister of police. Subsequent to that, the minister's office directed this complaint to the office of the National Commissioner. This is a complaint that comes on the 1st of November. The National Commissioner directs the minister's office directs this to the National Commissioner's office, and they request the National Commissioner to respond by the latest, the 4th, which is 3 days later. They must give a response into these allegations of Mr. Adams. The National Commissioner's office acted on that complaint by directing a division in the police that is responsible for dealing with complaints, which is a division inspectorate. The report from the divisional commissioner, Lieutenant General Jacobs, is attached and marked MK15 in this regard. This General Jacobs and the team, upon receiving this complaint, they acted upon by trying to reach out to the complainant, Mr. Adams. They were not successful in trying to get him to come and elaborate on this complaint. And they read through the complaints and the dockets that he has registered at the 2 different provinces. They could not find anything that justified his complaint to say there was an interference with the investigation. And as a result, in their conclusion, General Jacobs, which he summarized in the report that he sent to the National Commissioner, of which the National Commissioner responded to the minister, was that the complaint of Mr. Adams was premature, and the police should be allowed to first investigate this matter. And upon the investigation, and maybe the further analysis can be done whether there is any interference or not. But the biggest problem on this is the fact that the complainant himself does not avail himself when he's contacted by the people who are now investigating his complaint. He does not avail himself to be engaged in order to form the basis of his complaint in this matter.
And here's a clip of Adams praising Senzo Machuno for disbanding the PKTT. Watch the tone, watch what they emphasize.
Tell you, because the slide only gave us very, very scant information as to the spend. These people are being housed in 4- and 5-star hotels and lodges. The political killing stars team is nothing more than a terror group. Why is the murder of Magaka not being investigated by this team? I'll tell you why, Chairperson. Because that murder will trace the AK-47 that was used to kill this poor man back to crime intelligence. The weapon was bought with Secret Service money. So the political killing stars team, with all this money on their hands, with all this time, does not go and track the killing of a young black man that stood up to corruption in KZN. They nitpick their cases. Minister, we fully support your effort to disband the STARS team in the face of the generals that are refusing to do it.
Background on Adams. Born in 1976, founder of the National Coloured Congress, MP since June 2024, known for being outspoken on corruption, crime, service delivery. He's faced complaints for harsh language and controversial posts, but hasn't been charged for violent crime connected to these intelligence allegations. Still, the public picture is messy.
Exactly. And that's what makes this allegation serious. It's not just about politics. It's about who controls intelligence, who gets to open cases, whose voice is heard when investigations are meant to be independent. If an MP can access intelligence without oversight and publicly mix it with politics, that could erode trust.
We're not saying Adams is proven guilty, but the allegation from Kwanazi is serious, well-documented, and involves questions about national security and investigation integrity. South Africans, keep watching this commission, because the answers we get, or don't get, will tell us a lot about how deep political interference in policing goes.
That's it for today's SA Political Lens. Expect part 2 when we drop the clips, hear the words, and ask even harder questions. Stay sharp, stay skeptical,